So good day. So we are now on third quarter, module 1, week 2. Okay, so we're done with distance and displacement, same thing with the speed and velocity. So we will now discuss motion. We describe motion in terms of acceleration. So this is our topic for this morning. Okay, for our MEFs, okay, at the end of our session, you must able to describe the motion of an object in terms of acceleration. So, we need to describe. So, how can we know kung isang object na yun is nag-accelerate or nag-move in terms of acceleration? Okay? So, this is our specific objectives. You can read it. So, we have 4. So, it means, since we're dealing with acceleration, makukompute pa rin tayo. Same thing with the speed and velocity. So this is the let's recall part. Okay. So Carlos Yuri runs an errand for his sister to pay their internet bill. As he rides a bike to go to the bank, he passes by pharmacy and bake shop. Upon reaching the bake shop, Carlos Yuri stops to buy some chocolate chips. So he then realized that he overspent the money that's supposed to be for the internet bill. So he returns home before continuing to the bank. Okay, so let's analyze the scenario. Okay, so our main character here in our example is no other than Carlos Yuri. So Carlos Yuri yung ating main character. So si Carlos Yuri is nautusan ng kanyang sister to pay the internet bill in the bank. Okay? Pero, nagkaroon siya ng mga stopover before pa siya nakabayad. So, let's analyze. Okay? So, at the end of this scenario, kailangan makuha natin yung total distance traveled by Carlos Yuri and the total displacement. Okay? Natin din ni Carlos Yuri. So, as you remember, so si Carlos Yuri, saan siya nanggaling? Okay? So, nanggaling siya sa bahay. Okay? So, this Carlos Yuri. Okay, nag-start siya sa bahay. So, okay? So, this is the initial position of Carlos Yuri. Okay. Now, so from bahay, so this is the initial position, pupunta ngayon si Carlos Yuri ng bakery. Okay? To buy some chocolate chips. So, from bahay, going to the bakery is 600 meters. Now, okay, so medyo nasarapan siguro si Carlos Yuri dun sa chocolate chips na binili niya sa bakery. So, nagamit niya ngayon or nagalaw niya yung pambayad na internet bill. So, ang ginawa ni Carlos Yuri ngayon is bumalik doon sa bahay niya. So, another 600 meters. So, para bumalik siya para kumuha ng pambayad o yung nakuha niyang yung kulang doon sa pambayad niya sa internet bill. So, from home, tsaka pa lang siya pumunta ng bangko to pay the said bills. Now, the question is, what will be the total distance traveled by Carlos Yuri? Okay, so remember that in distance, there is no negative. It's always positive. Since the distance is always positive, all you need to do is to add whether siya nag-turn left, nag-turn right. And remember that distance is a scalar quantity. So, pag sinabi natin scalar, so it's something to do with magnitude only. So, walang pakialam sa direction. Kaya nga siya positive. So, you have to add all. You have to get the sum ng kanyang entire trip. Okay? So, remember that. And again, there's no negative distance. So, since it is positive, we're going to add all yung kanyang path. Okay? Since we're talking about distance, so anong gagawin natin? Of course, we have to add, again, si Carlos Yuri, nag-start siya sa bahay, from bahay to bakery. Okay, that is 600 meters. So, from bakery going to bahay, it's another 600 meters. So, from bahay going to bank, it's 800 meters. Okay? So, since we are talking about distance, you have to get the sum of the entire thing. So, if you're going to add 600 plus 800, the total distance traveled is 200 meters. Okay? Now, ito tayo ngayon. what will be the displacement traveled by Carlos here? Remember that the displacement is a vector quantity. It's something to do with the direction. Sabihin, yung direction, mas may say siya sa displacement. Unlike with the distance, walang pakialam yung direction. Whether nag-turn left, nag-turn, you have to add. But this time, in displacement, we have to know the two important points. So, sabi natin na nakaraan, okay, in one dimension, sinabi natin one dimension, isang diretsyo. Okay? Kapag nag-travel ang object ng isang, ng tuwi, or ng diretsyo, isa lang, single path, one-dimensional path. Ibig sabihin, equal sa distance and distance. For example, if this is Carlos Yuri, travel siya from house going to the bakery. Okay. Ito siya sabi natin single path. One dimension, isang diretsyo. Since siya ay diretsyo lang, ang distance niya and displacement is always equal. So, kung from here, going to the bakery at 600, ang kanyang distance is 600. Ang kanyang displacement is also 600 going to the east. Remember, kaya may east kasi meron siyang direction. Si displacement ay meron direction. So, we're going to put 600 meter C distance. Pero pagdating kay displacement, ilalagay nyo 600 meter plus the direction. So, going to the east. So, yun ang magiging direction ng path ni Yuri. If nag-travel siya in one dimension. Okay, now, what if bumalik? Katulad na nangyari sa kanya dito. Okay? Katulad na nangyari dito. Okay, so from house, pumunta siya doon sa bakery. From bakery, bumalik siya doon sa house. So, sabihin nun, kung saan siya nagsimula sa initial point niya, bumalik ulit. So, if the case is like this, your displacement will become 0. Okay? So, ang distance mo ay madodoble. Okay? If you are traveling from house, going to bakery, it's 600. Bumalik ka pa. So, another 600. So, that will be 1,200. Pero, your displacement will become 0. That is the reason why, okay, in this example, so this is the initial position. Ito yung final position. So, our displacement here is 800. Why 800? Kasi nga po, sabi natin kanina, kapag yung isang object bumalik kung saan siya nagsimula. So, therefore, it is 0. Since si Carlos is from bakery, mula sa bahay niya, pumunta ng bakery. So, from bakery, pumunta ng bahay. So, ito is already 0. So, from house going to the bank, it's 800 meters. So, our displacement now is 800 meters. Next. Okay, for the speed. So, let's recall, okay, about the formula of speed. So, in speed, remember the triangle method, diba? Okay, it's the easiest way for you to remember the formula of speed. If we're going to look for the speed, ang sabi natin na nakaraan, we have to cover. Okay? We need to cover lang speed. So, pag kinover natin si speed, ano magiging formula niya? So, speed will become equals to, kapag up and down, it means division. So, we're going to divide distance, divide time. Okay? So, if you're going to look, if you're looking for the speed. On the other hand around, if you're going to if we're looking for okay. Ayun mabura. Okay. If we're looking for the distance, we have to cover. So, since siya ay magkatabi, si S at si T, you have to multiply. Kapag hinahanap naman si time, you have to cover the time. Ang formula mo is distance divide the speed. Okay, now, so let's analyze the problem for number 2. So, your neighbor skates at the speed of 4 meters per second. So, you can skate 100 meters per second in 20 seconds. So, let's identify our given. So, our question is, Who skate faster? Okay? Who skates faster? Sino daw mas mabilis mag-skates? Yan ang ating problem. So, let's identify our given. So, yung speed ng neighbor mo is 4 meter per second. Okay? So you have 100 meter. We all know, tinuro namin kayo, kapag meter, kilometer, mile, we are referring to the distance. So, meron na kayong distance dito. 20 seconds. Okay, so that will be the time. So, meron na kayong time. So, nandito si time. So, what are you going to do? Since hinahanap natin ay si speed, because we are looking for sino mas mabilis. Okay? Who is more faster? Is it your neighbor or yourself? Okay? So, we're going to divide distance, divide the time. So, our distance is 100 meter. Okay? So, your distance is 100 meter. So, yun. And your time is 20 seconds. You have to divide. So, 100 meter divide 20 seconds. We're going to divide 120, divide 20. Your speed is 5 meter per second. So, ibig sabihin, mas mabilis kang mag-skate kaysa kay neighbor. Kasi sa neighbor mo is only 4 meter per second. Okay? Next. So, let's try this activity. We have to decode. Okay? For us to unlock the concept, okay, you need to unlock the concept using numerical code below. So, after decoding, define the concept in your own words. Okay, so let's try. Okay, so this is the coded letter. So, i-reveal natin siya. Okay, for example, C1. C1 is, anong letter niya? Very good, it's A. What about 3? 3 is C. So, lahat ng 3 ay letter C. Okay, muna, lahat ng 1, it's A. Okay, ano tayo babalik? Okay, 5, it's E. Okay, si 12 ay L. Si 5, it's E. May 5 pala dito. So, si 18 ay R. What do you think is our word, hidden words? So, 20 is T. Okay, I, O, N. Sorry. Okay, so our hidden word, okay, is acceleration. Okay, how will we define acceleration? Always remember that acceleration happens if there's a change in your velocity. When there's a change of velocity, divide the time, so nagkakaroon tayo ng acceleration. Okay, so elaborate more, you have to know two concepts. The term acceleration, by the way, kung sabi natin acceleration, ibig sabihin, mabilis ng isang bagay. Okay? So, when we say acceleration, meron naman tayong opposite of that. We call that one as deceleration. When we say deceleration, the object moves slow. Okay? I repeat, when we say acceleration, the object moves fast. Okay? When we say deceleration, the object moves slow. Nag-move siya ng okay, in acceleration, to technically define it, when we say acceleration, it refers to the rate of change in velocity. That's what I'm telling you. Si acceleration, okay, nagkakaroon siya ng rate or change in velocity. Okay? Now, how quick an object speeds up or slows down. Okay? No matter if gaano siya kabilis or gaano siya kabagal. Basta nag-change ng velocity, we pertain it as acceleration. Okay? Magkakaroon ng acceleration if nag-change ng speed. Sabi nga natin kanina, acceleration happen if there is change in your velocity or your speed. Either it increase or decrease. Next, it change in direction. Remember that acceleration is a vector quantity like displacement and velocity. So, nakaka-affect sa kanya yung direction. Okay? Whether to turn back, forward, up, down, left, right. So, nagkakaroon tayo ng acceleration. Okay? Or either change to both speed and direction. So, nagkakaroon. Okay, how can we say that an object is accelerating? Again, we can say that an object is accelerating if the speed of an object is changing. Like for example, the cyclist, nag-start siya from 20 kilometer to 40 kilometer. So, nagbago siya ng speed. Okay? Or nagbago siya ng velocity. So, therefore, nagkakaroon tayo ng acceleration. Again, if yung speed or velocity ng object ay nagbago. Okay, like our example, so from 20 km, medyo bumili siya equal to 40 km going to the east. Therefore, nagkakaroon tayo ng acceleration. Okay? So, this one is speeding up. But speeding up, kasi from lower speed or velocity, tumaas siya into 40 km. So, ibig sabihin, the object moves fast. Okay, another one. Okay, the skateboard is moving with the speed of 20 km. Oh, ito naman, opposite. Mula mabilis, 20 km, naging 10 na lang. So, pag ganyan ang case, okay, mula mabilis, siguro meron siyang kasabay, kaya kailangan niyang prumeno from higher velocity or higher speed. Okay, dahan-dahan nag-lower into 10 km. So, if that's the case, ang sawag natin dyan ay okay, decelerating or slowing down. Tandaan, kapag nag-increase or kapag bumilis, ang tawag natin is acceleration. Accelerating. Kapag bumagal or na-slows down, okay, bumaba ang speed, ang tawag natin dyan is decelerating. It means that the object is slowing down, bumagal. So, pag bumagal siya, bababa din si speed. Okay? Because acceleration is directly proportional to your speed. So, sabihin, kapag the more na yung isang bagay ay mabilis, sabihin nun, ang speed niya ay mabilis din. Kapag ang bagay ay, isang object ay bumaba ang acceleration, ibig sabihin nun, bumabagal din or bumababa ang speed because they are directly proportional to one another. Now, okay, we can say also that an object is accelerating if there is the change in direction. For example, a dog runs from 50 meter per second. So, this is 5 meter per second going to the west. Okay? And then 5 meter per second going to the north. So, from here, bago siya mag-north, so nag-stop muna siya. Nagbago yung kanyang speed or velocity. So, nung umakyat siya, naging 5 meter per second. If nagbago kasi ng direction, for example, kung kayo ay kung kayo ay driver, pag nasa kalsada kayo, at mag-curve kayo ay liliko, hindi kayo mabilis. Kailangan yung bumagal kasi liliko kayo bubuelo kayo. So, yung change ng velocity nyo, so, mula sa mabilis, since pa-curve yun, medyo hihinto kayo kasi kailangan yung bubuelo, mababago yung change ng velocity or ng speed. So, yun na tawag natin na acceleration. Either it slows down or either it's accelerating or decelerating. It's still also acceleration. Ito lang sabi natin. So, for example, yung runner na to. So, nag-travel siya going to east 10 meter per second. Because nagbago yung direction. Is na double tap. Okay, so again, to sum it up, we can say that an object is in acceleration if it depends on the change in velocity. Okay, kapag nagbago nga ng velocity, it's something to do with the acceleration. Now, we have three categories. We have positive acceleration, we have negative, we have zero. Now, pag sinabi natin, always remember if your acceleration is positive, ibig sabihin, yung object natin is nag-accelerate. In Tagalog, bumibilis. Okay, kapag positive acceleration, mabilis yung galaw ng object. Okay? At the same time, since mabilis, sabi nga natin, acceleration is directly proportional to the speed. Kung mataas si acceleration, of course, bibilis din. Magkakaroon din ng increase si speed at si velocity. Kaya siya ay positive acceleration. Okay? So, positive is opposite of negative acceleration. Si negative acceleration naman, ang tawag natin dyan ay deceleration. So, this time, bumagal yung acceleration. So, bababa ngayon si magkakaroon ng decrease in speed and in velocity. The third one is zero acceleration. So, kung sabi natin zero, hindi na hulugan na walang motion. It's just that in zero acceleration, the speed and velocity is constant. Okay? Hindi nagbago. Okay, ganun pa rin yung speed niya over time. Okay? Kaya tinawag siyang zero acceleration. Pero it doesn't mean hindi siya gumagano. It's just that hindi lang nagbago yung kanyang speed or velocity. Okay? Next one. Okay, so let's identify if it's positive, negative, or zero acceleration. For number one, an object is increasing. Okay, we have the clue words here. The clue words is increasing velocity. Kapag nag-increase ang velocity, anong tawag natin sa acceleration? Yes, it is positive. Okay, next one. The object is moving in constant speed. Ito na yung clue word, constant. So therefore, it is our zero acceleration. Okay, the third one. So you have the clue word, decrease in velocity. Okay, bumaba yung velocity. So therefore, our answer here is negative acceleration. Next. So yung line, ito yung bilis. So the more na maikse, okay, mabagal. So pag mahaba yung arrow, mabilis. So look at this one. So mula mabagal, so naging mabilis siya. Ito naman, mula mabilis, kasi mahaba yung arrow, biglang bumagal. Okay, so what would be the type of acceleration for number 4? Okay? Okay, it is positive. Why positive? Kasi mula sa mabagal, siya ay bumilis. So, positive. Ito naman si number 5 is opposite. So, mula mabilis, dahan-dahang bumagal. So, our acceleration here is negative. Now, I repeat, when we say acceleration, always remember that acceleration is change in your velocity divided by the time. So always remember that acceleration is a vector quantity. When we say vector quantity, it has magnitude plus direction. So it can be, ang unit niya, meter per second squared, kilometer r per second. Okay, so sabihin, kapag may nakita kayong exponent na 2, it means squared yun. Ibig sabihin, yun ay acceleration. Always remember, okay, for the speed, ang unit niyan, for example, ay meter per second. Speed yan. Pero the moment na nagkaroon ng meter per second going to is, ito na ngayon ay velocity. Bakit velocity? Kasi po, siya ay may direksyon. Iba pa rin yung magkakaroon ng meter per second squared. Kasi kapag may squared na, it is no longer speed, no longer velocity, but it's now acceleration. Okay? So for the acceleration, we have to follow triangle formula that acceleration is equals to Vf minus your Vi over time. Wherein, pag sinabi natin Vf, so that is your final velocity. When we say Vi, it is our initial velocity. And T stands for the time. Okay? So, kung sinabi natin, when we say Vf, yan yung final velocity. Yung huling naging speed or huling galaw ng object. When we say initial, dun siya start ng motion, ng movement. Okay? So, yun. Okay, let's take for example number 1. A car accelerates from rest, okay, to 24 meters per second going to the east in 6 seconds. So what is the average acceleration? Okay. So we have the clue word. Ano yung clue word natin? Our clue word is from. Sa Tagalog, kung sinabi natin from, dun siya nag-start. Okay, in this problem, kapag may nakita kayong word na rest, it means zero. Why zero, ma? Kasi po, pag sinabi natin rest, siya ay nag-stop. Huminto. Okay, so nag-stop. So sabihin, yung car from stop, naging 24 meter per second siya going to the east in the span of 6 seconds. So we have to look for our acceleration. Anong given natin? We have to look for our VI. Our VI is our first velocity, our initial. Since from indicates siya yung nauna. So since siya ay nauna from rest, okay? So since ang term is from rest, ibig sabihin, our initial velocity is 0 meter per second. Ma'am, bakit 0? Because nga, the term na ginamit natin dito is rest. Ibig sabihin, the object is not moving or naka-stop. And our final velocity is 24 meter per second. So that will be our final velocity. Kasi from rest going to 24 meter per second, so that will be our final velocity. And for the time, ang time natin measured in seconds, so that will be 6 seconds. So we have to look for acceleration. In acceleration, we have to follow the formula. Acceleration is equals to Vf minus Vi over time. Okay, so let's substitute. Our Vf is 24 minus your Vi is 0 over the time. So 24 minus 0 is 24 meter per second. And we have to divide it by time. So our answer is 4 meter per second squared or 4 meter per second squared. Now, ang tanong, ma'am, di ba kami magka-cancel? Di ba ang turo namin sa inyo, if there is the same unit, you have to cancel. In this case, bakit kaya siya naging square? Okay? So, remember, it's 24 meter per second. If you're going to write the units, 24 meter per second, ganito kasi siya. Meter per second. So, that will be the velocity. Si 6 seconds, so sabihin yan, 1 over second. So, sabi natin, magka-cancel lang kayo if pareho ang denominator and numerator. In this case, hindi pareho, di ba? Hindi nyo pwedeng i-cancel si seconds kasi siya ay both nasa denominator. Nasa ilalim siya or nasa baba. So, what we need to do is we have to multiply kasi S times S. So, kaya siya naging meter per second square. That is the main reason. Okay? Kaya ang unit ni acceleration ay meter per second square. So, our answer is meter per second square. Next problem. Okay? How long? Okay? So, how long will it take the car traveling from 30 meter per second to come to a stop? Okay? So, from 30 meter per second to a stop. Again, may term na naman na stop. Ibig sabihin, huminto. So, your velocity is 0. If the acceleration is negative 3 meter per second. So, let's identify the given. Our initial velocity is 30 meter per second. Kasi doon siya nag-start. Now, since ang car from 30 meter per second, nag-stop siya, so our final velocity will become 0 meter per second. And our acceleration, magiging negative 3 meter per second square. So, we have to look for the time. In looking for the time, cover lang natin to. So, ang magiging formula natin is time is equals, kasi tinakpan natin yan. Time is equals to, okay, time is equals to Vf minus Vi over acceleration. Let's substitute. Our Vf is 0. Our Vi is 30 meter per second. Divide your acceleration is 3 meter per second square. So, 0 minus 30, our answer is 30 meter per second. Divide negative 3 meter per second. Our answer is 10 seconds. Okay, so ba't naman siya 10 seconds? Meron na naman tayo nakita dito sa denominator na seconds. Remember, ito ay, sabi ko nga kanina, si velocity nyo ay meter per second. Okay? Now, ang acceleration ay meter per second square. Sabihin, S and X. Okay, since pareho na, ito na yung maka-cancel natin. Pareho na silang denominator, maka-cancel natin. So, ang matitira na lang ay si S. That's why our unit here is 10 seconds. Okay, for the time. Since we're looking for how long, gaano daw. Okay. For example, problem number 3. Okay. A car going downhill changed velocity from 10 meter per second to 4 meter per second. Ito naman yung from. Sabihin ng from, yung susunod is your initial velocity. Yung to, okay, yung word na to will be your final velocity in 10 seconds. So what will be the acceleration? Okay, our VI is 10. Kasi nga, after the word from. So, VF natin is 40. Ang time natin is 10 seconds. Same thing. Acceleration is equals to VF minus VI over time. Let's substitute. 40 minus 10 meter per second. Divide 10. 40 divide 10 is 30. So, copy 10 seconds. Our answer is 3 meter per second square. So, it is accelerating. So, siya. Okay, for problem number 1, a roller coaster starts down to a hill at 10 meter per second. Okay, so a roller coaster starts downhill. Okay, so the term here is starts. Okay, at 10 meter per second. So 3 seconds later, the speed is 32 meter per second. So what is the roller coaster's acceleration? Same thing, we have to identify our initial velocity, which is 10. Kasi, ang clue word na ginamit is yung word na start. Okay? Final velocity is 32 meter per second. Your time is 3 seconds. So, let's substitute the formula. So, 32, our final velocity minus 10 is 22. So, divide 3 seconds. Our answer is 7.3 meter per second squared. Okay, downhill. Okay? Last time. Problem number 2. A turtle going to east moves from initial velocity of 0.50 meter per second and 0.80 meter per second in 6 seconds. So our initial velocity is 0.50. So our final is 0.80. Our time is 6 seconds. So we have to look for the acceleration. For the acceleration, you have to minus final velocity to your initial velocity, divide the time. Okay, so substitute 0.80 minus 0.50 divide 6 seconds. Our answer is 0.30 divide 6. So that will be 0.05 meter per second squared going to the east. Problem number 3. A cyclist increase its velocity. Ito naman sa from. So, pag may word na from, that will be your initial. Okay? So, from 50 to 80 at 2.0 seconds. So, we have to look for the acceleration. So, for our VI, it's 50 meter per second. For your VF, it's 80. For the time, it's 2.0 seconds. We have to look for the acceleration. For the acceleration, you have to minus 80 minus 50. So, ang sagot 30. Divide mo sa 2.0 second. So, our answer now will become 50 meter per second squared. Okay? Next, going is a sports car's velocity increases from, okay? Doon natin pag from, doon nagsimula. So, 40 meter per second to 36 meter per second over 4.0 seconds. So, our VI is 4.0. Your VF is 36 meter per second. Your time is 4.0 seconds. And we have to look for the acceleration. So, let's substitute. Again, your VF is 36 meter per second. Your VI is 4.0 meter per second. Divide natin sa 4.0 seconds. So, our answer is 8 meter per second squared going to is. So, for problem number 5, same thing. The car slows from 36 meter per second to 15 meter per second over 3 seconds, which is our time. Okay, what is the average acceleration? Okay, our VI, which will start, that will be 36 meter per second. Your VF is 15. Our time is 3 seconds. Okay, so we're going to minus VF minus VI. So, negative 21 divide 3 seconds. Our answer is negative meter per second squared. Since ito ay may negative na, ibig sabihin yan, the object is decelerating or slows down. Magal. Okay, so for activity number 3, we have to identify true and false if the statement is incorrect. Okay, let's identify this one. An object with constant speed cannot accelerate. Kapag ba ang object ay constant speed, wala na siyang karapatang mag-accelerate? Is it true or false? Okay, it is true. Okay. Next, kasi constant siya. Number 2, acceleration is the change in velocity divided by the time. What is our answer? Okay, true. Kasi ang formula natin is acceleration is equal to Vf minus Vi. So, nagkaroon ng change in velocity over the time. So, true. Acceleration cannot change in different ways. Is it true or false? False. Okay, pwede siyang mag-change to direction. So, remember. Okay. Next, if something is accelerating, bumibilis, it means it's speeding up, slowing down, or change in its direction. What will be our answer here? Okay, it is true. Number 5. Acceleration is a scalar quantity. Is it true or false? Of course, it is false. Acceleration is not a scalar, but it is a vector quantity kasi meron siyang direction. Okay? Okay, for your let's dig in, so this will be your assignment. Okay, what are you going to do is to compute only for the acceleration. Okay, you have to compute it in using your notebook or pad paper, screenshot, then pa-send sa akin sa messenger. Okay, so for your performance task, okay, you have to make your roadmap. Okay, from your house going to the school. Okay, so anong scale natin? So bawat 1 centimeter, ang scale natin, kada isang centimeter, equivalent yan sa 1 kilometer. So magpa-plot yung bahay ninyo. Okay, so you have to answer the question. So mula sa bahay niyo, ilan ang total path? Okay, going to the school. Ano ang total displacement? Remember, displacement natin is the shortest path from your initial position to your final position. You have to measure it using your ruler. So, every 1 centimeter equivalent yan sa 1 kilometer. So, these are the sample, what do you call this? Work na ginawa ng previous student namin. So, yan siya. Naglagay siya ng mga pictures, pwedeng ganyan. Yung mga reference point niya. Okay? Landmarks, then mineasure niya. So, for you to get your displacement, you have to connect your initial position. Sabihin, mula sa bahay, kukonect mo sa school. So, yun ang magiging displacement niya. And then you're going to measure.